meeting starts at 7. I'm going to do the housekeeping. The Grove housekeeping. There are no planned fire alarms. If the alarm should sound, please exit the building using the nearest available fire exit. Once leaving the building, please make your way to the muster point, which is located by the staff car park. That way is identified by the green sign positioned in the shrub bed. Please make yourself known to a member of staff if on duty. This meeting may be recorded. The meeting may also be recorded and broadcast by the press and members of the public. Please see section 8 of the guidance for public participation, including recording and use of social media at the meeting. So, welcome to full council. I believe we've got quite a full agenda and there are some apologies. Thank you. Item 2, declarations of interest. A, to note any declaration of interest made by members in connection with an agenda item. Members need to specify the nature of the interest. Councillor Dowd.
Good evening. I'd just like to express some interest in the water can group, which is on the agenda. As chairman, I'm involved in that because it's a non-pecuniary interest.
Thank you. To receive any written request for dispensation and to grant any request for dispensation as appropriate.
None, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Community safety update, to receive reports from the police. Members that have just been here have received a report and will circulate that after. And the ACSOs again were attending that meeting, so it's their numbers in the pack. Councillor Wade.
In the ACSO monthly briefing, it references the Lifebuoy housing at Beechwood Pond being vandalised and the buoys being stolen. What action and response has been taken to that from replacing the buoys, or is that going to go to communities in consideration?
I can answer that on behalf of the maintenance team. They keep spares, so they will be replaced straight away. Prices are being sought at the moment for replacement holders. They are holders that are quite old now and have been in for a long time. Newer versions of them are more vandal resistant.
Okay. Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you. Anybody else for anything on the ACSO's report? Right. Item 4, minutes. To approve the council minutes of the meeting held on the 20th of November 2024. What is classed as page 59 at the top. Anybody? Page 60. 61. 62. And 63.
Happy to approve, Chair.
Thank you.
Second, Chair.
Thank you. All in approval? Thank you.
Chairman, I was asked a question in the last council meeting by Councillor Dowd.
I was going to ask you that in the question.
I have the answer. I can provide it now if you wish.
Yeah.
He asked me how many children are in registered care homes in this area. I asked Hampshire Council, and they don't keep a record of children in care homes in this area unless they are council children. They don't, because a care home can accept children from another council. It's first that I do that. The only people that look after the care homes, the young people, are now Ofsted, and it's only started that this year. So the Hampshire doesn't have any unregistered care homes in this area as far as I know. Not the answer you may want to hear, but it is that.
I'll come back to you on that one. That's another juncture, thank you.
Thank you. Item 5, Chairman's announcements. First, I'd like to say that on Monday, the parish experienced the loss of a pillar of the community in Alan Fairhead. Many will remember Alan as a dedicated councillor, valued colleague, a dear friend, and the driving force behind Hyde's Shed at the pier. His loss is deeply felt by all, and we did extend and continue to our heartfelt condolences to his wife Anne and family during this difficult time. On a brighter note, In addition to our usual lineup of Hyde Cinema, which on Tuesday 18th of February is Thelma, the Children's Cinema will start on 28th of February. There are some polls out on social media to see what film to screen, and once decided the posters will be out. And we have help from the Handley Trust for this session. In February there is going to be a Love Hyde week, courtesy of Hyde Alive, where it's encouraged to share lots about local shopping. There are planned events for the VE Day in May, and more will be shared in the coming months. And finally, a meeting was held between some councillors and officers and Hyde Ferry. Whilst we are unable to offer any further updates than have been shared by the ferry, they are looking at support and funding their £250,000 policy and replacement projects, and councillors are offering support where they're able. Finally, there's a public consultation being held in the Parish Hall in West Street, Hyde, from developers Highwood on Tuesday 28th of January from 3 p.m. I think. This will allow local residents, community groups and businesses and other stakeholders to provide feedback on their draft proposals. Item 6, reports by County and District members. To receive free verbal information reports from County and District councillors on matters concerning the parish. Have we had anything for Councillor? Who doesn't listen?
No.
Thank you. Councillor Wade.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I have an apology. I am, and so the office is really, and to Chairman Butcher, it is virtually impossible for me to get a report out as early as you want, because so many things happen in the intervening time before the meeting. We do the service to the council if I came to the council's report isn't accurate and up to date. Okay, right. First of all, the ex-MP and ex-council leader and long-serving councillor and chairman of the council said about the meeting on the 9th of January. The council, quote, council took the most momentous political decision of his life. And there's a good point there, it was the same for all of you, as it signalled not only the end of the county council, but district and borough councils of Hampshire as well. All part of Labour government's evolution of local government reorganisation strategy. LGR, that is an acronym you'll hear a lot of in the near future. The first recommendation report, of which we all agreed, was the county council is committed to the creation of a combined authority across the wider region, incorporating the Isle of Wight Council, Portsmouth City Council, Southampton City Council, in accordance with the expression of interest submitted to the Deputy Prime Minister on the 30th of August 2024. For our county and districts to have any influence on the LGR, we have to be part of the devolution priority programme, so we have to vote this way. The Liberal Government has put an amendment for all the other recommendations, the debate centred around the unitaries, not being fixed at 500k population fee. No engagement with town and parish councillors and flexible boundaries ensuring sustained operating authorities. The headline part of the debate was our amendment to not postpone the elections beyond a few months to maintain democratic principle and giving the people of Hampshire their say. Well, interestingly, both the Tories and Labour voted against it, this Liberal amendment. So the difference is we believe in democracy. The white paper came out a few weeks before Christmas, and the decision had to be made by the 10th of January to go down the fast track process. Therefore, the bottom line was we voted for a ballpark future without the details of what it would look like in the end from a few fairly vague criteria. It took BCP and Dorset 2 years to sort out their unitary, whilst Hampshire and its district have a few months. The one thing we do know is that part of the LGR will be a mayor, strategic mayor for all of Hampshire, covering police, fire and rescue, strategic planning and other planned Hampshire strategies. The timeline in the interim proposals for LGR must be submitted by March 2025, and final proposals by autumn 2025. May 2026 will see the elections of the Shadow Authority, which will be set up new unitaries around April 2027 or 2028. Target date for the first set of unitary councils to begin operating is 2028, the second is in 2028, and the second not be elected. That is the plan. We all know what happens when plans of this magnitude happen. Watch this space. That is, when I do my district report, I will explain the district perspective of this, because it's not built to this. I have two other council bits of information to tell you. First of all, I have been, for various reasons I don't need to go into, to stand on the National Park Authority. and that has taken place from today. I'm now officially a member of Appleton Park, but I didn't find out to today, so I can't go to the meeting tomorrow. I will be going to subsequent ones and be able to give a voice for this council and National Park. Finally, Chairman, which is of interest to probably everyone in this room, I was at the meeting with Fran Collins, the director of the Southern Ferry Company, with some members here on Monday. And I made a commitment that if they send me an official request for funding, I will write to the district, county and Southern City Council requesting for help towards paying for the court mobility. Well, I have got that request this evening. So, so I will be writing to those councils tomorrow to ask for them to contribute towards the funds necessary to fix the pontoon, to replace the pontoon, sorry. Because I think that the High Ferry is an iconic, intrinsic part of our community, and I've always supported it, and everyone experience supports it, and we want to see it back and running for the benefit of hard-working people. Thank you.
Thank you. For new ones, district members, I'll start with Councillor Clark.
No.
Councillor Callum?
I'm sure Councillor Wade will give a better description of the LGR. Yeah.
Please, you just
No. Yeah, so I don't know.
Thank you, Councillor Dow.
Thank you. On the 26th of November, I virtually attended the Hampshire Passenger Transport Forum online event. It outlined a strategy for financial support for public transport funding. The basic message was that only well-used routes that linked main areas would be eligible for available funding. There was no indication that the government's rural transport intention to target necessary but unprofitable routes would be met. There was no time to hear my question about the 112 and the number 8 bus, and I'm still awaiting a written response. We were advised that we could put the written responses in the chat and that they would be responded to. I'm still waiting. On the 12th of December and the 13th of January, I attended local plan meetings. December meeting dealt with a range of technical issues around backup grazing and place marking and design codes. Fascinating meeting. The January meeting evaluated the questions that were due to go out to the community, including residents and parish and town councils. Councillors attempted to reduce the technical planning jargon without adversely affecting the scope of questions. So we can expect that in due course. On the 12th of December, I attended the hearing of the Corporate Peer Challenge at District Council. This review, undertaken by visiting councillors, assessed aspects of the District Council's work. The council was rated positively. Crucially for our council, one improvement area was working with town and parish councils. On the 10th of January, I attended the licensing hearing, which updated taxi licensing policy and the table of charges for all licensed activities. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Harris-Wade.
Bin bags. High Division residents should finally be receiving their bin bags and recycling bag deliveries after a very long delay in upcoming weeks. In fact, as we speak, NFDC confirms high sickness levels and crews were placed on waste collection rounds. Additional personnel will be in place to catch up on the deliveries this month. However, if your road is missed, please raise customer service or escalate with your local councillor. There will be a question on the Commons about this, which is very poor. Home Farm. Highwood Homes have sent a request to NFDC to see if an environmental assessment impact for the Home Farm site, situated between Challenger Way and Southampton Road, is required in respect of a proposed development of up to 180 homes. This is not a planning application, so we're not allowed public comments or consultation at this stage. However, this proposal is essentially in the public domain, so councillors should be prepared for questions from residents. The document is available on the NFDC planning portal, and obviously, as we now know, since I wrote this report, there's a public consultation on Tuesday between 3 and 7 at the parish hall. NFDC have engaged with councillors on devolution, updating us on what impact there will be on NFDC following the agreement by HCC and other authorities to apply for high priority devolution. And frankly, lots of questions, very few answers, and I will do what I can to keep residents updated along with my colleagues. Local residents, from what I've been told, would rather join similar authorities such as Winchester and Test Valley, although again nothing is concrete. The reality is NFDC will no longer be as remote in a few years, and councils do hope for some answers soon. Southern Water. Following last month's latest water loss in our area, NFDC asked local members for feedback on Southern Water's response and how the community was or wasn't supported. I have shared my response on my councillor Facebook page, and needless to say, I was deeply frustrated at the failure of Southern Water to learn from the previous water shortage and their appalling approach to resilience. And many residents felt this due to not being able to get water and not being on the priority list. I think I've understated the frustration there. The boardwalk. I've received residents' queries over the state of the boardwalk in Hyde Village, and alongside other councillors raised with NFDC. The NFDC officers have advised the need for repair and maintenance at the promenade and consideration as part of the capital programme. A long-term solution is needed, as a piecemeal repair is not sustainable. A structural survey guiding a short-term approach, which will include immediately replacing damaged deck boards in the coming weeks and months, is to be undertaken. This is a joint piece between property, engineering and street team, and longer term NFDC will seek quotes to be subject to the capital bid for additional funding with other sources of funding such as SIL or any revised shared prosperity fund pots looked at. And lastly, on SIL, I will be writing my support on behalf of the bids within our Hyde Woodland parish as part of the latest round of SIL grant funding. There are 7 bids, including 3 from the parish council for our community, and I will be ensuring my support is given ahead of the Tasman Flynn Street meeting to agree where the 1 million will be allocated, no guarantee effort. Last year I felt Hyde probably didn't get allocated as much as it should, but Hyde Pier Garden, Hyde Sea Scouts, and then the Parish Council, Wildground Infant School and NFDC have all put bids in. My committee is Resources and Transformation, and it meets tomorrow morning. There will be an interesting reference to 1.75 million that was budgeted for Appletree Court revamp, which is now going to be reconsidered. So is there opportunities for that money to go elsewhere, and an update on the KPIs such as not meeting the housing target. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Malcolm, please.
Well, it'll be a quick explanation. This month ago, I attended the planning committee where there was no items from this parish, and in place of a sustainability panel which had a paper-thin agenda. However, I raised the point in that we should get Southern Water in, because water is a sustainable necessity of life. This area has twice had to suffer at water outages when it shouldn't. So I had words with the street director, but he eventually managed to say, okay, we'll try and get them in so we can grill on what they're going to do to prevent it happening again. In the nicest possible, we need to be robust for Southern Water for the sake of our community, because we're all fed up with having people having water, but they can't even deliver to people on the urgent list. No, the right list, it's outrageous. Anyway, the district council, like the county council, NFDC is dominated by the devolution of local government organisation program. Chief Executive leader going to sit at county to talk to fellow chief execs and leaders of a possible way forward. Now, the New Forest district is actually quite unique. It is the largest geographical district in Hampshire, and it has the second biggest population. Where we differ from all these others is we have multiple communities that are all vastly different from each other, instead of one big community or 2 big communities. Like Thames Valley, we've got Romsey and Andover, Fair and Gospel, they're all centred around that. So we're very unique. So at the our party, the Democrats, and indeed all the other parties are in total agreement, this is cross-party, that we need to align, because we have to align with similar type of districts. The issue is, I think, in that other report, there needs to be 500,000, that's the government's ideal population, 500,000 and geographically close. You could have a donut with one around the outside or something else and one in the middle or something else. So we've got the geographically aligned. Now, this is quite an important issue because if there's a very big community across the water, but it's a city. The city doesn't have parishes, it doesn't have districts, it doesn't have sort of rural issues and the semi-rural issues that we do. The feeling is we'll be better if we're going to be a unitary authority with similar unitary authority. And for example, Test Valley would be an example, a good example, and possibly Winchester, because both of those are town and parish councils understand rural issues, whereas a city has its own different set of issues that are very different. And we need to protect and get the best result for new tourist people, and we are. Because Waterside is part of the tourist, so for Waterside resident tourist people. So that at the moment is miles away from where it is. There should be a letter from on Friday from the Minister of State confirming they're not having elections and confirming whether Hampshire is one of the 10 in the fast track process. So that will watch that space and that will. Now, this bit will affect the parish board. The main issue affecting our parish council like this is, good news is, parish councillors are untouched by the government. Good. There's a strong possibility that the district's councils will devolve roles, assets, work to parish councils. Now, we all know if that happens, we've got to make sure they give us the money. The money is devolved. Good job, you Forest is rich. Now, for information, this is very important. This is for our clerk, our chair and the vice chair, the clerk. Richard Knott is the strategic director who has been tasked with working out what happens in interaction with town and parish councils through this process. And we've been very lucky in Higher Dipping because we have a very, over the years, really good, really active, really proactive and thoughtful parish council. It is as good as it's ever been now, which is really good. So we are in a good position, if we manage it properly, to take what we can do without being pushed something we don't want. And I say this as a really important point, that we as a council need to be really spot on the money knowing on this. And as the process evolves, that we will get to see what is on offer for us. And I know that I and other district members will do all they can to disseminate information down so this council can make the best possible decision going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7, reports from members serving on outside bodies, seeking its brief verbal updates of parish councillors who serve as representatives of council outside bodies and will work our way round for the day.
No.
Have a day.
Thank you. On the 5th of December, the Handy Trust had their meeting. As with all charitable groups, there are issues around staffing costs and insurance. We had an update on the issues surrounding the ASB issues in Hyde Centre and received an update on future planning. Thank you. On the 16th of December 24, the Watercan group, of which I'm the chair, had a community pantry site visit down to Blackfield, where it was impressive to see how much Lucy Mann and her team had done so far. The site can accommodate a range of community projects as well as housing the larder. I'll also add that we had a meeting on Monday this week where I was able to award the Sea Scouts with an Eco Champion certificate. That's our first Eco Champion award certificate because they collected 30 kilograms of aluminium cans. Their target, they set themselves, was 10, and they tripled that. And that's going to a larger collection point, and the money raised from those cans will be funding local charities and projects. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you. Councillor Dillon.
I attended the Waterside Community Fund full meeting this morning, along with Councillors Cullen and Harrison. And one thing I'm particularly pleased that was happening, tomorrow morning there's going to be what we hope is the first of many, as a budget.
Formulating household budgets.
So
Formulating household budgets.
formulating household budgets, yeah. Because a lot of our clients who ask for funding, obviously have got a somewhat reasonable income, but they're obviously not managing it very well. And we've had very good uptake of people wanting to take part, and I hope that will give some sort of report at our next meeting of how it went. Because I'm hoping to drop in and see how I was very pleased to see that. Thank you.
Councillor Rainey.
No, I was just looking at.
Councillor Rainey.
But both of my outside bodies meet back on Monday. But as I am parish representative on the HPHA, I would like to thank you for your words about Alan Fairhead, who until very recently was the high shed representative on there. And I did go and speak to the volunteers at the high shed this week to see how they were doing. And they were talking about Alan, memories of Alan, and also getting on their good work for the pier. He's an extraordinary man, and they will absolutely appreciate that for your words, Chair.
Absolutely.
Councillor Oster. Councillor Harrison.
Only the Waterside Community Fund the investment fund is now at about 10.6 million. Just over, shy over. It went up since Trump got elected, actually, for some reason, whether that's anything to do with it.
Thank you. Lovely. Thank you, everyone. I say it's a public forum. Has there been any written questions?
No, Chair.
Thank you. Be elected to address the meeting. I can see there's several people. Is there anything anyone would like to say?
No.
No. Ladies? No. Thank you. 9 questions. Councillors take brief questions from councillors. That's right.
Chairman, as you are aware, I'm writing these emails to the three councils to get some support for the ferry. Would you, Chairman, on behalf of this council, if I send you the copy of the one for each council that's attending, write a letter to the appropriate authority supporting the desire of the wish for them to help fund towards the placement of people to the ferry?
I am certainly happy to. Is everyone happy for me to do that on behalf of the whole council?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Councillor?
Yeah. Again, my question is to the county council. There's 2 separate points. The first one is to do with the ferry. Following your meeting, and obviously it's in your remit to write to other councils to request for additional funding, but will there be any efforts made by the Carrick and Southampton Ferry to communicate with other stakeholders who might have a vested interest who could support and who could offer any funding grants to the ferry? Was that proposed and suggested in the conversation?
Chairman answer that, but we really need to progress that to the ferry company. But my understanding in the meeting that I was there with the ferry owners, that they were going to seek funding from other sources as well.
Okay. And my second brief question was, if possible, could you provide me, do it now, but with an update on Hampshire County Council plans of short-term and longer-term work on the paving in the village centre from the issues I've raised, and you went and did a site visit before Christmas, which we appreciate, but there are a lot of residents would be very interested to hear an update. Thank you.
I'll give you a quick short answer. I went and had a site visit with a local highway officer. We looked at some areas that were green. What they are doing is they are taking out the block paving where it's roozy and replacing it with tarmac because it's not trip hazard, and they will continue to do that. It's inspected every month by Hampshire County Council to see if it's got wood. One of the problems is we've got trees. Trees have roots, and all roots go down. And when they go that way, they tend to pump up the pavement. Unless the money is found to do what they did outside the old HSBC bank, where they had a raised platform covering the area, and they haven't got the funding to do that, I can tell you that straight away. This problem isn't going away. So every time a pavement is raised, because of the number of trips hazards we've had there, they will go in, remove the paving and tarmac it. That is the full answer. Okay. But they are expecting it once a month.
On the back of that, there was a well under there, which high residents would get their fresh water from.
Where's that?
It's right in the centre there. It's underneath, but just in the case of the previous question about southern water, we might not need it. But there was a proper well that was refitted about the 1920s because fresh water didn't reach Hyde until the 1930s. So I just wonder whether there's some element that could be returned of the well for heritage purposes.
Possibly.
If the heritage before they tarmac a lot over.
And do we assume that that pipe has never been changed since the 1930s?
Probably not.
No.
Hence pylon.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Councillor Webster.
Is the Chairman aware concerning the A326 crossings issue that, as we know, a 14-year-old girl was severely injured on the 24th of October 2024. On the 29th, you wrote to Hampshire County Council on the 25th of November seeking a meeting and action. On the 29th of November, 4 days later, Hampshire County Council subsequently told us a site visit took place and issues were identified and a list of action points was drawn up. Then, about 2 weeks later, on the 17th of December, a woman in her 20s on the same crossing, also at one crossing as a pedestrian, received life-threatening injuries, and as I understand it, remains in hospital. Is the Chairman aware that it appears that none of that list of action points was actually implemented before the second tragic incident, and also that this council has repeatedly requested that list of action points from Nick Adams-King, who is the leader of the Hampshire County Council. He belatedly has sent his secretary replied today after a third request to say that he hasn't received it yet, the list of action points from the Casualty Reduction Partnership, but when he does receive it, he will forward it to us.
Yes, we are aware because we've been chasing him, haven't we? Councillor Harrison. Anything? No question?
No.
Sorry, I thought I was your hand.
No,
Just your pen.
Happy.
Okay, so item 10, Council and Committee meeting date July 2025, June 2026. 8. Consider and agree a proposed amendment to the previously agreed meeting calendar, cancellation of the GPNF meeting, which was scheduled for the 30th of April 2025 to be replaced with a council meeting for the 23rd of April 2025. Do you all have to agree that, or is that just
Yeah,
me?
I like that change. This is purely my benefit, really. We're coming up to the end of the year. GPNF can't address any budget all these issues, so I'd like to just retain that safety net. I don't think we need it. The council can address any issues that they have on, so it's a staffing requirement. I'll discuss it, please.
Members of the public, if you would like to leave, you don't have to listen to the rest of it, and probably I can leave a space for you to go, or you can stay. It's fine. Okay, so is everyone okay?
Yeah, good idea. So opposed, yeah.
Thank you. To approve council committee meeting dates from July 2025 to June 2026. I suppose that was it. We have approved. 11. Pageant Master Notification, VE Day, 8th of May 2025. To consider whether or not the council wishes to participate. There was an attached letter. So, guys, who would like to participate?
PE Day.
Yes, sorry, I was looking for it.
Okay, if yes, an item to consider setting up a working group. So is there anybody who would specifically like to be on the working group?
I'm sure. I'm happy.
Perfect.
Emily will be on that one with you. Thank you.
Thank you. 12. ABP, Dibden Bay. A. To approve a recommendation from the GPNF committee to form a working group to ensure that the interests of Highland Dibden residents are prioritised in any considerations regarding the proposed development of Dibden Bay. So, everyone happy to approve?
Sorry, Chair, I'm going to abstain from anything that has a planning consideration because I sit on the District Council Planning, so I will be abstaining from that one.
That's fine. So,
I too sit on the District Council Planning, but I don't have a direct interest with APB. But what I do have a big interest with this council, and as the suggestion originally came from me, as chairman of the GPF, I want to stress the fact that it's really important this council gets its ducks in a row with this APB, because although I'm not commenting on the planning application itself, which will go to the Secretary of State, I suspect, as you were saying it, it's really important that we have a say in this and the impact on our residents. So we need to set up a subcommittee to really focus on it.
okay. So, Councillor Wade.
Yes, so I also think it's a very good idea. I support it at GPNF, so obviously I support it here, but I do think it would be a good opportunity to also review and look at the neighbourhood plan, which AEP is 9 in their projection of the but that's just a point for the group to consider, but I happily propose this recommendation as I think GPNF.
Okay. So,
Just quickly, at the GPNF meeting, members of the committee were keen that the whole council was invited to attend the working group, but hence it's come back so the whole council could join with members that are not in GPNF as well. So it's not even an invite really for the GPNF meeting.
okay. So, hands up that we're definitely going to do a working group.
Who's on it?
Chair, can I ask the clerk, this just to take a bullet point, do you think being on it will be a controversial interest? Conflict of interest?
Well, the initial work will be to gather the views of the community.
Yes.
I think maybe a bit further down the line if the application does proceed, then we can reassess that.
Yeah, very on it.
You've both going to be key figures as the district councils as well,
Yeah.
on listening and getting the views of the community.
Yeah, well, in that case, I'm happy to serve with my council hat as well until it becomes necessary for me to withdraw due to conflict of interest being in the planning.
Okay. So, B was to consider and agree the terms of reference. Did everyone?
I just think on the terms of reference, it's just good for anyone watching that isn't just going to be councillors, and that was a key point that was made to GPNF. It was inviting members of the public, important relevant stakeholders and representatives from the community, voluntary organisations, charitable groups, local business representatives as well. So it isn't just a solely council-led group as it goes beyond that.
Yeah.
So I just think that's a good point. So that's a big discussion for GPNF.
Well said. Good point.
Chairman, just there it is. Should we circulate, or staff circulate an email later inviting members to the council to be on working party?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thanks, members.
Item 13, risk assessment 2024-2025, to approve the council risk assessment, which was attached.
This is an audit requirement, members, we have to do it every year. It's put out basic by officers. No chance to review it. If you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer them. If not, just improve.
Any questions?
What was notably changed from year on year?
The staff would have the biggest indication now because we've got training requirements, and before we were staffed differently. Now we're just trying to reach that level of staff and knowledge and qualifications again. There's a major risk, however, there is a potential risk there.
it's addressed, it's mitigated it, I'm comfortable with it.
I noticed there's a lot of training and stepping
Absolutely.
up and widening skills, particular responsibilities, and when I read it.
So that's the mitigation towards that
Okay.
bit, and I'm pleased to say that training is moving on at a fast pace for the summer officers.
Okay, thank you.
Happy to propose the acceptance.
Okay. All in favour?
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. 14, annual asset register. Again, to approve the asset register 2024-25. Is there anything you'd like to point out?
Again, audit requirement members, no major significant changes. We've disposed of a part exchange, one vehicle, bought 2 more pieces of plant, and of course we had the defibrillator solicitor. So minor changes this year, just need to approve them, please.
Okay. Thank you. Seconder? Thank you. All in favour? Thank you. 15, government consultation. Local audit reform, a strategy for overhauling the local auditing system in England. If we could do with that. To consider a response to the consultation document, which we have got details of. The NALC and the SLCC will be submitting responses. The closing date for responding is the end of this month. I think you wanted.
Yeah, I'm happy to do respond to that one because it really affects all the requirements which I'm obviously involved in. I'll be submitting a response to SLC, which that will form part of the overall SLCC and NAL response. So I'm happy to do that.
Okay.
Yes, you want to get involved, it's up to you.
No, we did discuss it already. So,
Good.
it's fine with everyone?
Happy to delegate.
Thank you. Second, one delegate? Absolutely.
Thanks.
17, finance. A, to receive the bank reconciliation. What?
I was a standards consultation.
Oh, I missed that. 16.
You tried, didn't you?
Government consultation, strengthening the standards and conduct framework for local authorities in England to consider a response to the consultation. Again, same process as the previous one.
I'm not going to comment on that because it's really to do with members, but what I will say, I've seen a lot of the back information on this going back 2 years, and it's come back from the local MP. SLC are going to submit a response, and now as well, and they're both similar, but what I would say then is this directly affects you if you stay a member going forward, so you are encouraged to submit your own response if you wish to. Other than that, I've got no more to say on that.
Okay, is that noted by everyone? Thank you. 17, finance, to receive the bank reconciliation for November, December 2024. That's it. B, to approve the paid expenditure for November, December 2024.
Happy to approve.
Anyone second? Right, all in favour? Thank you. To receive the budget comparison for the end of December 2024. D, to receive the financial strategy for Q3. Anything on those two?
Just a variation, members. This is again, it's all required for us to do this every quarter, and explains the budget we're working with, what we've spent so far, what we've got left to spend. And if you look down the column, the last column, most of the columns are okay, but the most important thing from my point of view is we have got 25% left of our budget, and we're 75% through the year. So
That's very good.
Yeah.
Excellent plan.
Better than the other way around.
E, to ratify the GPF committee's decision to allocate funds from the workshop, EMR, special projects and contingency budget headings to fund the shortfall in funding the workshop refurbishment phase 2 project, which we have a report attached.
So proposed.
Happy to propose.
All in favour? Thank you. F, notification of banking charges, report was attached.
Yeah, it's fine to put up that really. We don't have to pay banking charges. Lloyds have caught up. Initially, in the report, if you look at the table, it looks like Lloyds are quite high, but Bev and I have spoken with the bank manager in-house there, and they're going to two of the accounts, which are the Europe Recreation Charity account and the Village Green Charity account, will not be classed as business accounts, so therefore there will be no change. As a result, the figure 626, which is the left-hand column, reduces to 422, which is less than the other two competitors that we looked at, and we've got a really good relationship with Lloyds. They don't do what I want them to do, but the relationship's good. So I recommend that we go with 2 recommendations there.
Okay, Councillor Wade.
No, to be fair, the clerk echoed the point I wanted to make. Obviously, the figures suggest it, but obviously, the long-term relationship with Lloyds is well and quite a time to cultivate, so I can't really approve the recommendation.
Happy to approve, yeah.
Thank you. All in favour? Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry now. 18 is the exclusion of press and public. To result that the press and public be excluded from the meeting for the following business